Thank you, Chairwoman Finkenauer, Ranking Member Joyce, and distinguished members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Dave Spigelmyer. I'm the president of the Pittsburgh-based Marcellus Shale Coalition. We represented energy producing, transmission, midstream supply companies, as well as more than 150 supply chain businesses supporting shale development across the Appalachian Basin. This is a critical and timely conversation about supporting our nation's pursuit of a thriving clean energy economy, one that prioritizes innovation, job growth, and a sustainable energy future. Our country's energy landscape has changed dramatically over the last decade. Innovation and technology has enabled access to deep shale formations in the Appalachian Basin, as well as across our country, which has triggered tremendous job growth. The natural gas we are producing in Pennsylvania has driven unprecedented environmental gains that are enhancing air quality and making clean energy affordable once again for consumers of natural gas. Furthermore, natural gas is the vital fuel necessary and essential to back up interruptible sources of renewable energy to contribute to our electric grid. As a result of shale development, our nation is far more energy secure. In many ways, our economic and environmental progress is in large part owed to it. In Pennsylvania alone, where 20% of America's natural gas is now produced, our industry supports over 300,000 direct and indirect jobs and contributes $45 billion to our state's economy, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers. From Pennsylvania's labor community, with union halls at full employment, to new building tradesmen and women being trained, jobs are being generated to mobilize our nation's energy infrastructure. Our building trades are constructing new power generation facilities, pipelines, and a world-class petrochemical complex just west of Pittsburgh. This facility alone is a $6 billion investment. It's one of the largest construction sites in America with more than 147 cranes active, employs 6,000 building tradesmen and women to build this world-class facility. There are also countless small businesses owners who entrepreneurial spirit has seized the opportunities presented by this industry. Our state's agricultural sector proceeds from natural gas development has indeed saved family farms. Pennsylvania consumers have witnessed historic reductions in natural gas commodity prices, especially those on fixed incomes. Natural gas commodity prices for end-use consumers are down 56 to 76%, depending on which utility serves your natural gas since 2008. And wholesale electric prices in the PJM ISO are down 41% since 2008, saving the average household between $1,200 and $2,500 annually, according to our Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission. Pennsylvania's economic strides have been met with equally impressive air quality achievements, thanks to innovations in technology, tightened environmental performance standards, and increased use of natural gas. We have reduced volatile organic compound emissions, which are down 51%, sulfur dioxide emissions down 82%, nitrogen oxide emissions down 72%, and additionally, Pennsylvania's carbon dioxide emissions from electric power generation, where natural gas is playing a bigger and bigger role, are down 30% since 2005. Nationally, according to the U.S. EPA, in 2017, total greenhouse gas emissions across the U.S. reached their lowest levels in 25 years, propelling the U.S. to be a world leader in CO2 emission reductions. This is not despite the shale revolution, it's because of it. As I stated earlier, natural gas is the most reliable and affordable partner for our growing clean energy economy. When intermittent renewable sources are unavailable, dependable baseload power is essential. Natural gas generators can scale up rapidly to meet demand, making natural gas a vital partner with renewable energy. Natural gas is also vital to our everyday lives as a manufacturing fuel. All steel, glass, plastic, chemicals, fertilizers, powdered metals, pharmaceutical medications, and indeed, 1/3 of our power generation today are produced from natural gas. Without a doubt, any conversation about clean energy must be grounded in the partnership that will make that possible. Supporting a thriving natural gas industry from production to pipeline deployment to its growth in power generation should be a core focus of any public policy discussion aimed at building upon the progress our industry has realized for Pennsylvania and the nation. As you continue to explore how Congress can best support the growth of our nation's clean energy economy, I appreciate the recognition of this subcommittee that natural gas is important and a vital component of that discussion. On behalf of our members and the thousands of men and women who work in our nation's natural gas industry, thank you for having me here today, and I look forward to your questions.
I'm thinking, Howard. Mr. Spigelmyer, you piqued my interest with some information that you discussed with the expanding shell industry in Pennsylvania. You talked about the positive impact on agriculture. Now realize this subcommittee also addresses agricultural issues and entrepreneurship. Would you please explain more what you were talking about in that?
Yeah, when leases are taken, bonus payments are paid. In Pennsylvania, it's exceeded $5 billion to mineral owners and landowners across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and my comment was it is indeed saved family farms, and that's my experience. As well, royalties are paid. On average, 15% of the production royalties go back to the mineral owner, and that too has provided valuable income back to consumer or back to mineral owners in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
During my time in the district work period in August, I had the opportunity to visit the new petrochemical plant that Shell is building in western Pennsylvania. Can you talk about the economic impact of that on community and actually on the nation at large?
Sure. It's the first of its kind petrochemical complex that's being built just to the west of Pittsburgh. About 70% of plastics manufacturers are located within 700 miles of Pittsburgh, yet they've had to transport the raw materials for plastics manufacturing to that region via truck. The savings on a cost of goods sold is about 1.3% right out of the gate, but the jobs being generated at that site, the downstream jobs that will likely flow from that are extraordinary. That plant's expected to be complete in 2022. And I would share that it's not just the investments at a $6 billion facility like that. We've written the obituary for manufacturing in the Appalachian Basin for the last 4 decades, and today we're writing birth announcements up and down the Ohio River. We've got not only the $6 billion that's been invested at that facility, we've got $1 billion now being invested by U.S. Steel. We've got the savings of the Marcus Hook Industrial Complex just outside the Philadelphia airport. We've got $13 billion of new power generation facilities. Again, we produce about 250% of the power that we use in Pennsylvania, and it's saved consumers up and down the PJM ISO, 41% on their wholesale energy costs. And I think I'd also share that from a small business standpoint, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we've witnessed small businesses that started in 2008 with a person or two. I'll use one for example, Steel Nation. It's a a building manufacturer south of Pittsburgh. They had one employee, had less than $1 million of gross proceeds annually. They now have 30 employees at that location, and their proceeds are $40 million annually. Those small business type of stories are being told over and over and over again all through Pennsylvania, and I'm sure, Congressman, you have a chance to talk to a lot of those folks every day.
We're going to ask that you just bring the mic closer so that we can hear your important answers.
I have an issue with my mic here, but that's fine. Thank you.
You've mentioned the use of natural gas in power generation, and importantly, its partnership with the renewables. What specifically have you observed in Pennsylvania? This is so important as we reach and embrace the all-of-the-above approach to be able to have the strong interaction with the reusable renewables and with the natural gas industry.
Yes, in 2004, Pennsylvania passed an alternative energy portfolio standard requiring 18% of their power be generated by Tier 1 and Tier 2 sources. Those are renewable sources of energy as well as new technologies. We're on our path there today, but I would share that in Pennsylvania, our wind doesn't always blow and our sun doesn't always shine, and consumers across Pennsylvania require that when they turn the switch on, their power comes on. There's no better partner for renewable energy than natural gas. Natural gas comes on quickly, it comes on affordably, and is reliable in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
One of the things, again, I see in conflict is that some of the folks that would like us to move from, let's say, coal-fired power plants to natural gas, think that's a good move, but then they don't support fracking. What's your opinion of that? I mean, right now, don't we have about a 300-plus year reserve of gas that we predict, and we're exporting it and all these other things?
It's a great reflection, Congressman. I would share that we've gone from a period of high price and a lack of supply to a period of abundance and affordability, all driven by technology. Some would think it's because of hydraulic fracturing. We've actually been hydraulically fracturing natural gas wells in America since the early 1940s. Hydraulic fracturing certainly plays a role in releasing not only natural gas but liquid hydrocarbons to the surface. But the technology changes in production today are the ability to turn a drill bit horizontally to produce far more than anyone ever thought possible through unconventional horizontal development. And as you mentioned, reserves in the neighborhood of 300 plus years are certainly possible through this technology. I would share with you that we put this coalition that I represent 10 years ago. None of us thought that Pennsylvania could go from 180 BCF of production or billion cubic feet of production to over 6 trillion cubic feet of production in 10 years. We're now the #2 producer of natural gas in America as a result of that technology improvement.